Welcome back, and I'm gonna take you just through the journey, little by little, in what I have learned, and maybe this may motivate you, but I saw the goal. I saw, you know, the line is straight, the path is narrow, where I wanted to do this exact thing. And what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna actually show you one of the projects that I've been working on, and I just have to move myself over here. And so here I have one of the newest projects that we have been working on that I will now show you how it looks like through the server, right? So I'm gonna use npm run dev, which is basically gonna run the, what is it? Before we get into that, this is so annoying. My bad. So before we get into looking at what I had built, I want to show you first, right, that running npm run dev is here in the JavaScript. So here we have the dev for the Vite, right, which is the live server, or the server that is going to be used to run my code from VS Code onto the web. And once it's developed, right, then you run this so that you can go completely live and your website is going to be live. You can share it with people and with family, with friends, coworkers, potential, I don't know, clients, companies, whatever. So that is one. And of course, I have the JavaScript here. I have it like that because I was working on some stuff. And this is basically just the code that I was using. I don't need the JSAP. I was gonna create something different, like menorahs, but it involved a lot of cylinders, a lot of move shapes. So I decided not to do that for now. So I wanted to basically focus on the basics and get that fundamentally down. And once I get that down, this is so basically, just to show you, right, I'm importing it from Three, which is from the dependencies, right? Or in this case, from the library, right, the framework. This is the orbit controls and the fonts. So I used a font, which is, I got it from Google. It's Inter. It's one of my favorite fonts. And then I just added the text geometry. So basically, this is going to be the one that's going to create the text and make it into what it is its shape, right? So from there, I will now run. This is basically the text, and I'm using textures, materials, and then I'm resizing it, and then I'm adding donuts, which is in this case todas, right? And then I run dev. Boom. And this is my server from Vite. So if I do that, now I have this. This is on my local host, as you see on top here, and it's running because of Vite. So I would rather recommend using this over the live server. Sometimes the live server is quick, but this one is just that much better. And basically, I put here praise Yahuwah, which is the creator, and I put all these donuts around. I was gonna add a bunch of menorahs around here, but it was gonna be a little bit more work, and I wanted to focus mainly on the basics of what I'm doing. And if you ever want to build something like that, do it, because you're gonna learn just by building it. But I'm like on a course where I'm just learning stuff and building from there. And I mean, wow, this is awesome. You can change this. Let me make it smaller, and I could. Okay, there you go. So I have 8 different fonts, or not fonts, textures here ready to basically to go. So let me remove that sidebar. So that's number 3. I like number 8 as well, but number 3 is just my favorite. And this is what number 8 looks like. So it's loading, and it just looks so awesome. Then we have, I think, number 5. 5, I think it's the orange. Yeah, it's the orange one. This one's really good too. I like this one too. It looks really weird, but my personal favorite, of course, is number 3. I just like shiny, chromy things that are shiny and they're chrome, and I like silver, so it just looks really, really good. Of course, I can play around with more of the controls if I have, we can play around with the transparency, which I'm going to show you another project that I am working on, just so that you can, let me take this off. It's going to be Control C, bam. Okay, take it off. And I'm going to close this because it's already closed. I'm going to show you also what I did through the, all right, so this is the first one. So I'm going to go back to my materials. This is just basically the projects I have now. But I'm just going to go through VS Code, and I'm going to get it straight from here. So, to open a recent file, this is actually one of the most amazing things ever. Is just Control R, bam. And there it is. Wow. And here is this is one of the bigger projects that has more code. But I love it. And I'm going to show that to you. I'm just going to put npm run dev because it already has all the modules, node installed, the Three.js. It also has the orbit controls as well, and this one right here is just to test everything. It's what adds the little control bar on the top so you can maneuver and save stuff. And then the loader, of course, for the colors. So then I'm going to click on return. And then we have this. This is basically like a door texture material that they add on here. So it looks like a transparent glass. We add the environment on the sides, and to me this was just awesome. You just lower the transmission, and now it's gonna look like a glossy door, like if it's been varnished really well. But then you just you just add roughness to it, and now it looks like a realistic door. So that's really cool. And to me, that was phenomenal that you can just create this on the web. So yes, this is on the web. This is on my local host right here. And you can basically create so many things. Of course, you have to optimize objects, materials, and text just so that it can be a lot faster, because sometimes they might not be so fast. So let me check here. I'm gonna to test this, I'm gonna put it on the console. I'm gonna put it on not on the scene. Which one's the one that's moving right here? Dun, 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 dun. The GUI. It's a lot. Okay, so I might put it within here. Just gonna close the terminal. Control C. Boom. And of course I'm gonna get a lot of WebLock socket errors. Okay, that's enough of that. But this, awesome. And then I'm gonna just basically go and just show you how, you have to build slowly and surely. I remember that one of my first projects, right, was basically something like this, where I was basically showing everybody how to do stuff there. And then you would just, I was out of my mind. People don't know what I'm doing, but of course, once you click enter, it's like, okay, so now I need to figure out what this is. You just have to start. Honestly, eventually you get so good that you look back and think to yourself, that was easy. That was very easy. But we don't think like that when we're learning. We want to learn everything quickly. I highly advise you to take it step by step, because you can learn knowledge and wisdom. But one of the things I recommend is to keep practicing the fundamentals. Keep practicing and practicing and practicing, doing little side projects, just moving things in general, just so that you can see what does what. And if you get an error, that's perfectly fine, as long as you don't do it within your terminal. As long as you don't do it here, then you're okay. Don't use this unless you know what you're doing to basically mess with your iOS. Don't use this because you might do something and you might make your iOS crash, which is how some viruses work. So yeah, don't, I was thinking of something. I'm not gonna do it. No, 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 no. Away, away. Okay, crazy. I don't know why I was thinking of crashing it. There's always a prompt where you can automatically cancel it real quick, but that's if you can do it before it crashes. So, all right. Other than that, I was doing this, showing people how, to run certain syntaxes, get comfortable with the one you're more familiar with, which in reality, I would just recommend learning either the traditional way. But so you can have more optimized code, I would highly recommend using this whenever you can, because it does make it a lot easier to read. I know some people might be like, well, what is this? But people who are working with you on projects, they should know what this is. So yeah, they shouldn't have that. Other than that, one of the things I do highly recommend is always start with something you like. Start with something you like, something you want to learn, because just as I showed you right now, there is tons of things to learn and tons of things to do. You can do anything visually possible: sound, uh, vision, not taste, of course. It's just another way of just experimenting with certain things. But I would highly recommend, as I said, keep learning. If you're learning a skill, I highly recommend learning that with a mentor. Even if you learn that with someone who has already been there, and if you want to make profit or just want to do it as a hobby, that's fine. But if it's not earning you income, then you're going to have to work doing something. So I'd rather work doing what I love and get paid doing that, because now it's not work to me, but yet I'm earning income from what I'm doing. So that's just me. I would highly recommend doing something like that if you want to get out of the, 9 to 5 grind. I know a lot of people don't like it, some people do. But one thing that it says in the scriptures is complacency is a fool's. What is complacency? Complacency is basically you loving pleasure, you feeling comfortable where you are at. Learn to do things like that, that we have already covered. It's phenomenal and amazing in that you can create something out of nothing. And to me, it's just amazing because we are put in this earth to create things and to do them well. And I always like looking at this. My mind went blank. I always like looking at this just because you can see what you can create. Of course, you can also create this in Blender, Cinema 4D, 3D Maya, and there's also Tintin 3D Max. There's various ones where you can create certain things like this, but once you're applying that into the web and you're making your website that much more interactive, I was going to compare at the moment how some websites, um, they just create them to create them. And you're basically leading people to a home. Imagine you have a business and that business looks scammy. You have to make sure that what you are selling is in comparison to your abilities. If someone is telling you, hey, do it quick, do it now, well, some people like it, some people don't. But honestly, I rely a lot on vision, and a lot of the things that I see is really on the quality of the services and products that they are going to offer me at that time. And it really tells me if they really invested into their business, if they really invested in the things that they love, or are they just doing it to do it for money? Which in reality, okay, if you're doing it just for money, then you're missing the point of serving, doing the best in serving people, because you have to give them the best of everything you have. So when someone visually looks at something you've created, you want them to be wowed by that. You want them, it's the alpha channel. You want them to be wowed by what you created. And at the same time, they also want to invest in that same thing that you're doing, because they realize that you have those skills to help them. You have the knowledge, you have the wisdom. And so everything that you are creating, websites, creating design, copy, everything is to better what you do to help others and serve them and give them also the profit that you are gaining from them. And that's why, we work for Agency Cornerstone, and I'm showing this just because of the level of skill. It does take a lot of skill to learn something like this, which many people just don't want to learn because it is hard. They want everything the easy way. Like, I know that I'm going on a rant, but it's like drop shipping. Drop shipping came, it was a big thing, and then it fell. It came and then it fell. Why? Because drop shipping now got basically outlawed by what, the certain states, and I think even the certain businesses are against it, because even then it's not even really considered a business in some aspects, which is kind of weird to me. It is a business, but you're basically being a distributor, which is why I hate this new what is it called? It's called vibe coding. Vibe code is the worst. You're not checking if something is optimized. You're not checking if something is going to work. So for example, if I was to look at the source code, right? And I was to look at your website is either going to be crap, or it's going to be optimized, or it's actually going to be working. We want to make sure, I say that because it's really the harsh thing that really gets people to move, but it is really that, where it's not optimized for user experience, and at the same time, it is not going to be something that's going to draw the attention of a potential client, or a friend, someone that's going to work with you. You have to always make sure that everything you do is not just some easy get to rich scheme, because the things that I'm learning takes a lot of skill and time to learn. You have to learn it. You have to build upon those skills, and some people just stay in one place because they're comfortable there, and that's fine on them. But I'm going to continue to learn and increase my skills, because I always have to stay competitive with the rest and separate myself from the rest of the people that I know are not doing these things that I'm doing, especially when you combine them with other assets and other skills. That's just one of the things I wanted to go over right now, that if you're contemplating learning a skill or investing in yourself or creating a business, do it. You will not regret it. You will regret not doing it, because you're going to be old and say, oh wow, if only I did that when I was younger. If only I learned when I was younger. If only, I was taught this, or if only I was actually interested in doing that. You're going to regret it. I'm telling you that right now. There's a lot of people who are regretting certain things that they could have done in the past, which they didn't. So the best time to start is now. And this was more of a motivational kind of thing, where I wanted to show you and showcase what I am learning, which I learned in a couple of days. It was like 15, 16 days to learn this. But I already had experience coding, programming, 3D design, and copyright. All of that, I already had certain experiences with it, so it was kind of familiar to me. So the only thing I needed to know is the different syntaxes that I wasn't aware of, because of course it requires different syntax, or rather in this case it's just like this. I just have to know what this is, and then basically that's it. Like, learn how to get this. What does this do? Okay, and get the image, and then now the image is here. So that's just basically one thing that I have learned, is you're going to learn something new. And I know, and right now is the unleavened bread. We celebrate the day of unleavened bread. So we're on I believe the third day, and tomorrow's going to be the fourth day on sundown. Meaning that I unleaven myself and renew my mind for new skills, to learn it newly, because everything is changing. There was even some changes here that I was like, why isn't this working? And I found out, it was changed. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So it's just like a little word that they changed, which makes it shorter, which is better for me, because I'd rather they did change it and then I have smaller code and stuff that I could work with, because you have to make sure everything's optimized. But one thing I do let you know, and I'm gonna end this in a bit, is do not let other people tell you that you can't do it. Do not let other people tell you you cannot do more than what you're capable of, because you are more capable than you think, more capable than anyone that is not thinking the things you are thinking right now, which is to improve, to continue to grow your business, to invest in yourself, invest in something that's going to help others, invest in your business that's going to help everyone else. That's all that I wanted to basically make a point on right now. I basically wanted to show how you can do anything, especially something like this. I know I've showed this website to you, right? And these are just things that you can create. Or our website. This is CSS. CSS is one of the easiest things ever, honestly. Excuse me. CSS is just that easy to learn. I thought HTML was harder. CSS is no wait. I thought CSS was harder than HTML, but CSS is super easy. And from here, you just showcase the things that you've done, the things that you're offering, the things that you do. All is to better yourself. But yeah, that was basically it. This was just a showcase where I wanted to motivate anyone who's listening to this video that you are able to do anything that you're put on this earth to do. Don't hide your talent on the ground. Even if you say I can only read or do copy, if you only knew how good that skill is. But now because of AI, they think it's irrelevant, when in reality it's the complete opposite. And because of AI, everything is becoming so saturated that everybody is looking for someone that's original, to an extent that it's not someone else's copy, right? It's good to be original, but using what other people have already taught you is also very good, so you can already apply those things. I mean, other than that, appreciate you guys looking at this video and just hearing me go on and on about things that I have done. But this is just basically the journey from where I was basically building WordPress websites, and I was having trouble with those, and now it's just so easy to just create anything that you just have to put your mind to it. Well, shalom guys, happy day of unleavened bread, and may you have a great rest of your day. Shalom to you, and may Yahuwah barak you. Peace.